We are now recording, and this is not the current, but this is last spring's syllabus. Now, when it says mini-term 1, you'll see that for this fall too. Not that the course changes any, but my office hours change at mini-term because I pick up a second mini-term course. All right, this is Math 112. Everybody is in the right class, right? You answered roll, assume you are. Supposedly, it's a Blackboard-supported class, 3-credit hour course, and the class meeting times and dates are exactly like they were last spring, Tuesday, Thursday, 8 to 9:15, Vassar Campus, Building A, Room A155, 255, just where you are. My name's still the same too, Charles Fowler, cfowler@washingtonstate.edu is my email, and you can certainly email me. Right now, I'm at least a week behind in emails because of last week I got on email only when I absolutely had to check things and answer students and that kind of stuff. So I will get caught up maybe sometime soon, but that is a good way to get in touch with me. My office is, let me show you where it is on this indicator here. We are up here in the corner classroom. Okay, you go out the door here, take a left, go down this half flight of stairs there, go almost to the end of the hall. Before you bump into the wall down there, there is a stairwell just to your left there. Right before that is my office. It's 265. There's a mechanical room like this right next door, so I'm in between the mechanical room and the stairwell. Used to be a storage room, but the guy that preceded me got it changed to an office. It's a nice sized office. It's a real mess. I don't know who lives there, but you know, they really are messy. But anyway, that's where my office is, just down the hall from here. Okay, now that's my Bessemer office. Like I said, I'm the math department chair, so on Fridays I usually go to the Birmingham campus. I don't have classes, so I go there and work on that campus just to show my face on both campuses. Who would want to see? No, they want to get me off of no. Okay, so I'm in B122. Are any of you familiar with the Birmingham campus? Okay, you are. Okay, y'all know where Dr. Pruitt's office is. That's B122, okay? B Hall is that long hallway on the back of the quad, and this end is the ACAT building, and that end's the gym and the tennis courts and the baseball field. If you come in that end at the gym, tennis courts, baseball field, go up a half flight of stairs. When you get to that top step, the room right there is B122. Dr. Pruitt's secretary is the first person you see when you go. It's really a suite of rooms. First person you see, and his big corner office is there to the right. Behind her desk is the copy room. That's where my office is. Yeah, it's a little closet. No, it's okay. I'm only there on Friday mornings most of the time. Okay, my phone number, 929-3449. If you thought I was far behind in emails, I am so far behind in voicemails, I'm not sure I'll live long enough to catch all those, but I'm going to try, okay? So what my suggestion to you, if you're calling me, call during my office hours. Now, these are not correct. I'll tell you what the correct ones are. But call during office hours, because if I'm in class, there's no way I'm going to answer the phone, okay? And if I don't answer the phone, it's going to voicemail, and who knows when I'll hear it. So call during office hours if you can, and then if you don't catch me then, I may be down the hall somewhere. I'll be back shortly. So wait about 5 or 10 minutes and call back. Okay. Now, let's talk about office hours. Again, these are last spring's. And yesterday, my schedule changed several times during the day. I think it's fixed now. Okay, on Monday, Wednesday mornings, I have an 8 o'clock class and a 9:30 class. And the 9:30 class is a calculus class, so it's a 4-hour class. So I get through with that at 11:10, so 11:15 to 12:15, okay? It was 12 o'clock last term, but it's 12:15 this term, okay? And then in the afternoon, I have another calculus class, Cal 3, and that's 12:15 to 1:55, okay? So then the rest pick up at 1:55, not 1:45, 1:55 until 5:15. 1:55 till 5:15. Well, make it 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock till 5:15. Okay? At least for now, that's what we'll go by. So that's the bigger block of time. Tuesday, Thursday. Those are not correct. Okay, this is what got changed yesterday. I now have this class, followed by a 9:30 class, followed by 11 o'clock class. Okay? That 11 o'clock class finishes at 12:15, so Tuesday, Thursday will be 12:15 until 5:45. 5:15. 5:15. And generally on Tuesday, Thursday, I've got to leave most days right at 5:15 because I've got to be at a business in Homewood that closes at 6, so I need to leave by 5:15 to get there. Okay? And Monday through Thursday, I'm here on the Baltimore campus most days, most times. Friday morning, like I said, I'm on Birmingham campus, 7:45 to 11:45. And by the way, this phone number works on both campuses, so wherever you are, you can call me. Now, let me tell you about Fridays a little bit. In general, they love calling meetings on Friday. So I can't always guarantee you I will be in the office those 4 hours, but when I can, I will be there. And if I know about the meetings, I'll let you know the week before, hey, I'm going to be going from 9 to 11 or whatever. Let me tell you about this Friday, okay? As I said, the math department chair, they advertised early in the summer for a new math position. Thank you very much. We really need it. And then they got applicants in, they closed the application, and stuff, and we sat for months. I call and say, has the committee been set? No, it hasn't. Has the committee been set? They finally set the committee week before last when we were off, okay? I was out of state when they set the committee. So I talked with my boss, who's Dr. Pruitt over on the Birmingham campus, 122, in service last Monday, and he said we would be screening this Friday, okay? So this Friday, I'll be out of the office at least, I would say, most of that time. I just don't know when. Typically, things don't get started over there quite at 7:45, so I'll probably be in the office the first 15, 30, 45 minutes, something like that. But at some point when everything gets rolling, I'll be down in human resources and we'll be screening applicants. Probably most of the morning, okay? Hopefully, maybe we'll get finished and then I can get back in before 11:45. So if you call and you don't get an answer there, then don't bother leaving a voicemail. Try again maybe half an hour later, but in that time frame. If you call early, I should be there. Call soon then. Okay. Anyway, that's my office hours. At best, I know it yet. Now, second mini term, let me tell this. Second mini term, the Tuesday, Thursday, they will end in the afternoon at 3:15 rather than 5:15. I pick up the second mini term course at that. I know your name, I can't think of it. Yes. Okay. And you go by Lashunta? Okay. But you go by that?
Go back to Lashunta or Shun.
Shun, that's what I was thinking. Okay. All right. You didn't bring another Shun with you. No. No problems in here today. Okay. Glad you did. All right. Now, let's continue with this. Course description is not something I wrote, okay, or anyone here at the college wrote. It was developed by a team from the 2-year college system and the public 4-year college universities here in the state of Alabama, that if we do this, they give you credit for it. Okay, good news, right? Pre-calculus, as the name suggests, consists of topics from algebra and trigonometry, okay? Hold on to trigonometry for a minute, that form the foundation of calculus. This course emphasizes the algebra of functions. Hang on to that concept, algebra of functions, including polynomial functions, rational functions, exponential and logarithmic functions. The course also covers systems of equations and inequalities and quadratic inequalities. Okay. Now, the big deal in this class is functions. The trigonometry part, that's the general term pre-calculus, that's Math 113. 112 is the algebra part, 113 is the trig part. So we're not getting into trig this time. Okay, and you'll see that later when I talk about the text. In fact, let's get the text up here. Prerequisites. Math 112 has a minimum prerequisite of blah, 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 or pass with a C or higher intermediate college algebra, that's Math 100 here, or you scored for Math 112, okay? So hopefully you either scored to be in this class or you've already done your Math 100. Fits the bill for everybody? Good. All right, excellent. No co-requisites, okay? Textbook, yours won't look exactly like this because I have the blue border, but it's pretty close to this. It's pre-calculus, 9th edition. Larson's the author, and okay, it's published by Brooks Cole Cengage. Okay, it's also here. Okay, it's a 2014 text, which means that probably within a year or so they're going to come up with a new edition. Not that there's anything new in pre-calculus, but because these companies only make money when they sell new books. So if they got too many used books floating around out there, they consider themselves losing money. So they come out with new editions that have hardly any change to them at all, little bits here and there. But I don't really, okay. Now, let me continue this. Now, the graphing calculator is not absolutely required, but it does make life a bit easier. So you can get by with the scientific calculator to do all your calculations. The graphing calculator just helps you see the graphs as well as do the calculations. Please bring paper, graph paper at times, pencils to class. And by the way, let me say this. See about the graphic calculator, graph paper, this book, and maybe it's common to all of them, they love graphing. Okay, and just about everything. I guess it gives you a visual on it, I guess. Okay. Now, let me back off. I do not really care for Brooks Cole Cengage that much. They're okay. They're fine. I find the books are too expensive and generally no better than the others, except for Ron Larson. I have not found an author I really like better than him of the math textbook. Okay? This book has so many features that others do not. I really like the way he does. The math is about the same, but the additional things he puts in there. And I don't usually say this, but I will in this case. In the bookstore, when you buy this, it's going to be a shrink-wrapped package with enhanced web assign or whatever it's called, affiliated with it. I typically don't use that. I use the book, but I typically don't use the web assign. Yes? Okay, that's up to you, completely up to you. If you can follow it, I will use PowerPoints, I will project, I'll teach from that, write on those, stuff. That's why I like having these packages. I hope that Screencast-O-Matic will do all the things Tegrity did. So it's up to you. Now, you can get fairly cheaply the ebook. I think they say relatively cheaply. Of course, that's a relative term. And a lot of people will just use that and not actually get the physical book. That's completely up to you. If you can find someone who had it in a previous, that's the thing. I don't use the web assign for two things. One, I usually wind up spending more of my time helping students figure out why their answer is correct, but it's not giving you a correct answer in web assign, or how do you do this on it and stuff. It just turns it to be more of a problem than it's worth in my mind. Now, maybe I'm just a dinosaur. I am. But the other thing is, they make you, by including that, they make you buy new text every term. And I don't think that's right. So I don't go along with that. You can get a used text, you can rent a text, you can do anything like that, and it's a lot cheaper. And basically everything you need is in that book. Okay? Or I'll try to give you as much as I can. So, you don't have to, I don't mean to take away from the bookstore's profit or anything, but it's just the company is who I really, the way they do things. Okay, Blackboard. They put this in our syllabi and they tell us we cannot touch this section. I wish I could because there's several things. There's not much I like about this. Blackboard is fine. But all also say community college students must be trained in Blackboard and use Blackboard daily to gain access to vital course information such as the syllabus, and you will read the syllabus every day, won't you? Of course you will. Okay, Sundays and Saturdays included. You'll get up and read the syllabus. No, I'm making fun of it. I think it's a little overstated, okay? I'll put the syllabus out there. It's not there yet, okay? I got to make all those corrections to it, then I'll get it there. I'm gunning for this week, but whether I make that or not, I don't know. Fridays is usually a catch-up day, but I'll be screening applicants all day Friday, it sounds like. Okay, so I will put the syllabus there. It's not there yet, okay? Handouts. Now, most of the time, if I have a handout, I'm going to hand it out to you, okay? So I usually don't put those on Blackboard, so don't worry about those. Now, if I need to, I'll do it. Like I've had over the summer, I had some students who were trying to do the course remotely because I was using Integrity, so I would put some things on Blackboard so they could have access to it. But usually I just emailed to them, so that was easier for them, it seemed like. Okay, PowerPoint shows. They're not there yet, but they will be. And let me go into Blackboard a little bit. Are all of you familiar with Blackboard? I take it you are because you've been here long enough. Okay. If not, see a student who is, or I'll try to help, or get you in touch with someone who really knows Blackboard well. Okay. When you go to this course in Blackboard, the home page, you will find a block up here in the upper left corner with a series of tabs in it. Okay? One of those tabs near the beginning is called, I think it's second, third, something like that. It's called content, or at least on the instructor side. I don't see the student side, but I think it's fairly similar. Content is where I'll put your syllabus. I will put the research paper instructions, which we'll get to later. I'll put my locator card showing when I'm in class, when I'm not in class, that kind of thing, even though the office hours indicated some of that. I'll put my locator card there. And I will put all the PowerPoints, okay, that we could possibly use. Probably some we won't get to, but I'll put all the ones out there on Blackboard. So they'll be there under content. Now, those will be static. You can take them, you can print them, you can, do whatever you want to with them, okay? Now, not just there. Ultimately, I hope Screencast-O-Matic will go to Blackboard. I'll try to set that up so that will happen. Actually, I got a student in one of my classes, he said, I think I can help you with that. I thought, thank you very much. Okay, so if not, I'll get help to get that, or I'll do it every day, whatever it takes. But on Screencast-O-Matic, I'll be using the PowerPoints. I'll be talking about the PowerPoints. I'll be writing on the PowerPoints. At least they tell me I can do that. I could on Integrity, so hopefully I can do it here too. So you'll see the PowerPoints. Under content, it will be static. They're just there. Under Screencast-O-Matic, now I don't know where that's going to go. It may go under content as well, okay? So there you'll be able to see the PowerPoint, but hear me talk about them and see me write on them as well. Okay, activities. Sometimes the college puts activities on Blackboard. We don't have that many that I'm going to put there. Assignments, I will put your research paper assignment there. It's not there yet because I've got to make some minor adjustments to it, but those will go there once I get that done. The rest of your assignments will technically be on Blackboard, but I'm not going to type them out. You need to do these probably. I'll tell you that in class. And because I'm recording that on Screencast-O-Matic, it will be under Screencast-O-Matic, which hopefully will get under Blackboard. Okay? So we'll try to get that done. So your assignments will be there, but I'm not going to type them out every day what your assignment is. Okay, announcements, usually that's the school announcements. I don't usually have any. If I do have some, I will let you know. I will tell you this. There will be at least one Tuesday this term that I might not be here, okay? But I'm going to let you know way in advance. I'll try to put the announcement on Blackboard too, but I'll let you know under Screencast-O-Matic and if you're in class and that kind of stuff. I have a mild form of leukemia, and I have to have treatments. Have been doing once a quarter, but my hematologist wants to go to another treatment, which, this goes back to the Friday thing, will be once a week for 8 weeks, once a month for 4 months, and then from then on, quarterly. So there will be a bunch of Fridays. I always ask for those treatments to be in the afternoon on Friday so I don't miss any work, but they routinely are about half the time schedule me for morning anyway. So there may be some Fridays I won't be here, but I know there will be one Tuesday because my hematologist only sees patients on Tuesday mornings. Okay, so unless it's late morning, which I'll try to get. I don't remember when my appointment is this quarter. But if it's late, I might be able to squeeze in the class before I go to the appointment. But I have to have blood work done an hour ahead, so it knocks out a whole bunch of the morning. So, but I'll let you know ahead of time. It'll be on Screencast-O-Matic. If I have time, I'll put that announcement there too. Grades, okay, especially early in the term, usually I'm pretty good about getting grades done because I have most of my afternoons free, and I'll try to get the grading done the same day you turn things in. Now, if we're interviewing candidates for the position for the next week or two, I may get behind, but you're not going to have that many scores coming in then. So hopefully that won't be too bad. Now, when I get to the second mini-term, pick up that other course, then things will slow down a little bit, and especially when we start registering for spring term. Last time I checked, I had about 450 advisees. Now, they don't all come see me, but an awful lot do, and that will slow me down. So I usually use Fridays to catch up on my grading once things get that bad. So hopefully they'll be within a day or two, or certainly within a week. I'll try to get your grades out there. All right, I do not like this next sentence. Failure to use Blackboard could severely damage your ability to pass the course. That's such a negative sentence. To me, something like, if I were allowed to change it, I'd say, the proper use of Blackboard could greatly enhance your ability to do well in the course. It's a much more positive statement, maybe a little bit closer to reality, too. And the next one's crazy. See the schedule book. We haven't had a schedule book in years now, okay, but they don't let us change the thing. They need to change it, but they haven't gotten around to do so. So that's sort of crazy. If you need help with Blackboard, see me. I will find a student who can help you, or find a staff person. There are some who are on top of everything in Blackboard, so I'll help you out there. All right, and then this next sentence. Students should always check the Blackboard announcement page prior to coming to class. What does that sentence connote to you? Why would you want to check Blackboard announcement page prior to coming to class? Say again? Oh, yes, to see if the instructor decided to sleep in that morning and cancel class. I will tell you now, I will try never, ever, ever to do it. I will have an appointment one Tuesday, and I'll let you know way ahead of time, as soon as I can figure out when that is. And now things like traffic, if I were stuck in traffic like I was this morning, I'm not going to, no way I can, on the road, pull up Blackboard and put that in. No way. So I almost resent that, because I will be up here coughing, sneezing, whatever. I'm going to be here if I possibly can. Okay? So that's probably not encouraging if you're in infectious disease, but whoa. Okay. Here are the course student learning outcomes. Students will identify, analyze, graph, transform, and combine functions and determine inverse functions as if they exist. Okay, good time. None of you have the book, unfortunately. Let's go to the table of contents. Okay? First chapter, functions and their graphs. I told you they love graphs, okay? So functions and their graphs. Rectangular coordinates, 1.1. If you don't know that, see me after. I'll answer any questions you have on that. Graphs of equations. You really should have had that. If you scored for 112, that should be old hat to you. Linear equations in two variables. If you had Math 100 or scored for this, you should understand that. But basically what I'm saying, the first three sections are on you, okay? Go over them. If there's anything you're fuzzy about, uncertain about, can't remember if you ever had it, or remember you had it but don't remember how it worked, ask me. I mean, the way I teach, I want you participating, which means asking questions. Frequent, okay? Ask questions. So go over the first three sections, and that's and ask me anything that you may be fuzzy about. We'll start in 1.4. The title of that section, Functions. Okay, as I said, the algebra of functions. And then most of this, if you read the topics there, that's what there are. Okay, so that's chapter 1. Students will divide and find zeros of polynomial functions and work with complex numbers. Chapter 2, polynomial and rational functions. The first 5 sections are polynomial functions. That's where these come into play. And then the 6th section is students will find domains, asymptotes of rational functions, analyze the graphs. That's 2.6. Okay? Students will graph and use the graphs of exponential and logarithmic functions, use the properties of logarithms, and solve exponential and logarithmic equations. That's chapter 3. Okay? We will not do chapter 4, chapter 5, or chapter 6. Guess why? They're the trig chapters. That's Math 113. Okay, but chapter 7 is students will solve systems of equations and inequalities. That's your chapter 7. Okay? And students will write a library or internet-based research application paper on some topic in pre-calculus. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay? Now, in my mind, especially the way they write the introduction, the course description and stuff, the focus is on functions. These things about solving systems of equations, you've had that already. This probably goes in a little more depth. If we don't get to that part, I don't feel too bad about it. The exponential logarithmic functions, I hope we get there at least to introduce you to it. You're going to run into those again if you are in a major that you're going to take any more math. You'll run into them when you need them, okay? So I'm going to focus on functions, okay? And those are functions too, but the ones that we use most frequently. So those are the student learning outcomes. Here are the course competencies which measure those. And like I said, the first one, chapter 1, identifying, analyzing, transforming, combining functions, and inverse functions. All right, now it says here a quiz and a test. Here's typically how I do things. Midway through that chapter, and basically we'll do 6 sections in that chapter, 1.4 through 1.9, okay? When we finish the third one, 4, 5, 6, 1.6, I'll give you a take-home quiz, okay? That quiz is typically due back in 1 week, okay? There's 2 reasons I give you a week to do the quiz. The first is you always have 1 class day to ask questions about it. So if I give it to you on Tuesday, you have a Thursday to ask questions. Or if I give it to you on Thursday, you have the Tuesday to ask questions, okay? The second reason is you always have a weekend in there in case some of you work or really are bogged down with family or other things. Hopefully your weekends you can get caught up. So you'll be a quiz basically every unit that we do, okay? And then at the end, you'll have a test. And the quiz will cover the first 3 sections. The test covers all the sections, or the first half of the subject matter. The test covers the whole. So some of the questions, usually the first page of the test will look a lot like the quiz. Not the same questions, but covering the same material. The second page will usually be the new material in the second part of the chapter or the unit, whatever. Okay? Then chapter 2, quadratic and polynomial functions, synthetic division, complex numbers. We won't do a huge amount there. We'll just introduce you to it. Zeros of polynomial functions and rational functions. Again, midway through a quiz, take-home quiz, and in-class test. Time out on the test again. Let me say this. They are in class. They are not open book, okay? But I do allow for every test, including the final exam, you can bring in a formula and equation sheet, okay? Anything you want to write down on a piece of paper, you can have there in front of you, okay? Now, I recommend that as a practice in preparing for any test. Whether you can use it or not, it's a great thing to do, because I remember it wasn't that frequently that when I was an undergraduate, my professors allowed that, but I found out when they did, and actually in grad school, I ran into it more. Of course, those are pretty complicated courses. And I found out when I that night before, or maybe starting a little earlier than that, writing down, organizing my stuff, trying to get all the important things on one piece of paper, and do. Then when I went into the test the next day, I sometimes forget to look at it, because the practice of writing down, organizing, thinking through what's important, what's not, it fixed it in my brain, so I didn't have to look at it. It was there if I wanted to. So it's a great practice. Even if an instructor doesn't allow it, do it anyway. So don't bring it with you if they don't allow it. I don't want you getting it. Yeah. But I think it's a great study tool. Okay. Chapter 3, exponential logarithmic functions and their graphs, properties of logarithms, exponential logarithmic equations, midway through a quiz and a test. And again, we may not get as far here. These are long, involved, even though they don't sound like that many sections, they are long sections and cover a lot of concepts and material. Okay? And then chapter 6, remember 7, we skipped 4, 5, and 6, so that's the trig part. Chapter 7, linear and nonlinear systems of equations, two variable and multivariable linear systems, partial fractions, we really won't do much on that, and systems of inequalities, maybe just a little bit. In reality, when we're doing this kind of stuff, sometimes we'll be doing some of that as well. So you'll run into this even if we don't get to this chapter, you'll still run into part of it. Anyway, okay? If we get there, quiz and test. Your research and writing assessment, that'll be your research application paper, and then the overall student learning outcomes will be your comprehensive final exam, which we will have at the end of the term. Okay, let's see how I'm going to use that stuff to evaluate and assess what you're doing. Whoa, I knew I was going to do that. All right. The paper is required for the course, okay? It will count as a quiz score, okay? But that quiz score cannot be dropped, okay? Then the take-home quiz will be given about midway through each chapter, as I just described. The lowest quiz score, not counting the paper, that can't be, may be dropped. If it helps your average, I will drop your lowest quiz score. Now, the quizzes are take home, you get to ask questions about, and by the way, let me say this too. Remember I said there's a day in between you can ask questions. I do not. The question is, can you work number 3 on the quiz? My answer will be yes, but I'm not going to, okay, because that's what you're being graded on, okay? But I'll work anything that's in the book. And your quiz questions and your test questions are going to look a lot like your homework exercises. So do your homework, but if you can't do a quiz, find one like it, a question on the quiz, find one like it in the text, ask me, I'll do anything in the text, as long as it's not the identical question, and I don't think any of them are, okay? So, you get to ask questions on it, I'm not going to work a quiz question, but you can drop one. The remaining quiz scores and the paper scores will be averaged together, and that will be called your quiz average, okay? Should be a pretty good grade, especially if you do a decent job on the paper and do well on the quizzes. That should be a pretty good grade. That quiz average may replace your lowest test score. If it's higher than your lowest test score, I take out the lowest test score and do the quiz average instead. Tests will be given at the end of each chapter. Lowest test grade may be dropped and replaced by the quiz average. Comprehensive final exam will be given. It cannot be dropped, okay? And I can tell several of you are very bright people, and I can hear you asking me now, I've made an A on all the tests, do I have to take the final? And you know the answer, yes, because it can't be dropped, okay? That's how we measure your total learning, composite of your learning out, student learning, okay? So you will be taking the final, okay? All right, the glare on the windows, I can hardly read this, okay? Okay, comprehensive final exam will be given. It cannot be dropped. It will count either as 1 or 2 test scores, depending on what helps you in the grade. If you do poorly on the final, but worse than your average coming in, I only count it once. I only count it once. If you do better on the final than you did your average coming in, I count it twice. Okay? So whatever helps you most. The average of the, now there's one exception to that. And this happens frequently, unfortunately. In fact, I can almost guarantee it'll happen. like I said, there's a lot of material in the course. The odds are, and this happens almost every term, that when it gets time for the end of the term, I'm still working on new material in the chapters. So typically, your last chapter test will be the first hour of the final, and the comprehensive will be the second hour. If we do it that way, and which is probably going to happen, then the final only counts once because it's just an hour test. If it was a 2-hour test like it's scheduled for, then I could count it twice. But if it's 1 hour, then it will. So typically, this isn't going to happen. Okay, I probably should take that out. It just counts as a test score. Okay. Then when I average all those things together, that will give you your average, and you know the numbers. Okay, attendance. Now, one thing about, let me explain this. I don't know if I have to, but I think it's important. I do the screen capture. That's what they call this, screencast-o-matic or integrity or whatever. I do that so you'll have another tool when you're doing homework, when you're doing a quiz, and you're reviewing, studying for the test or something like that. Oh, I can't remember how he did this. You can go back and see. Okay, you can pull it up and do it. It's not really designed to replace class. Now, if you have to miss class, it sure is good to have so you can see everything that's happened, but you can't ask questions on it. I mean, it's not like an online course or something that we have a chat room or something like that. So it is beneficial. The point is you're expected to be here in class, okay? If you can't be here in class, and it really doesn't matter when it says regardless of reason or circumstance, I've had people say, but this is an excused absence. I say, well, fine, but guess what? It's still an absence. You weren't here that day. You don't get the material. You're probably not going to do as well on the test unless you really work hard to catch up. So if you can't be here systematically and it's going to hurt your grade, you have to decide, is a withdrawal better than a poor grade? That's a choice you have to make, okay? So consider that before the poor attendance interferes with your ability to achieve the key learning outcomes and do well in the course. But if you do withdrawal, that could affect your eligibility for federal financial aid. And are any of you in the nursing program or allied health program? If you are, it sometimes messes with that too, okay? So before withdrawing, check with your advisor, financial aid office, those kind of places. See what's going to be the best choice. I'll give you advice too, but anyway. Now, makeup work. Now, I didn't write the syllabus. I think I know which one of the instructors did, and this is one of her policies. Makeup tests are generally not given, okay? I'm not that big of a stickler on it. I do it this way, unless, I modified this, unless arrangements have been made with the instructor prior to the missed work. Okay, now if it's a quiz, guess what? It's take home anyway. When you get here, I'll give you the quiz, get it in as soon as you can, okay? But for the test, I know things happen on test days. You might get the flu, you might, the car breaks down, whatever happens, just let me know as soon as possible, beforehand if possible, but as soon as possible not. Try to get it done within a week, okay? It says generally not given. I didn't change what you wrote, but if you do have to miss it, try to get it done within a week. Now, yes?
If we have a scheduled court date on those days,
right.
we'll be able to make it up.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
A letter or something like that.
Just let me know. I don't require the letters. Let me know. Come back, get it done. Now, within a week if possible. Now, I don't know if any of you are in, say, National Guard or reserves or something like that. Every now and then they have to go for a 2-week training. Guess what? There's no problem there. As soon as you get back, make it up as soon as you can. Okay? You don't want to penalize anything. Courts, I had jury duty, was it last year or year before? And boy, that was awful, but it happens and sometimes you just can't do it. So yeah, any kind of thing like that. But understand too, you are allowed to drop one major test. I don't recommend you just say, oh, this be the one I drop. I think the practice of doing the work is beneficial. And I see rustling among the troops, and we're almost out of time. We basically are. Have y'all been in enough classes you've seen statements on discrimination and harassment? Okay, any questions on that? Let me point out two things. Will not be tolerated. Is never tolerated. Get the point? Okay. If you know, sense, or even feel like someone's being bullied, harassed, or discriminated against, whether it's you or somebody else, let us know. We deal with it quickly. How about Americans with Disability Act? Okay? If you haven't noticed, I'm hard of hearing. Okay? That's why I talk so loud. Okay? So I'm real sensitive to this. If you have any kind of disability, let somebody know here. Let me get this up here so you can see it. Dr. Renee Herndon on this campus. I think Ms. Alana Suggs is still on the other campus. Let us know. Actually, is this room okay for you? I know it's like yourself. We can move down to the first floor if you want. It is fine? All right, okay. Anything that we need. I've had one term, I had one class with 2 people with wheelchairs in it, and the lift broke. We went down to the first floor so they didn't have to do stairs. We will do whatever it takes. That's not exactly what they talk about here, but we'll do it. All right, I'll get the college calendar set up and the course schedule. These are all from last spring, but they're on here. If you want to see them, look at them on Screencast-O-Matic. And once I get it out there, you'll see the announcement page and do it. Good deal. Thanks. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. All right. Yes, ma'am.
At my high school,
Right.
but she was like, well, you know, if you have a question, look in the book. You have a book for a reason. I'm just like, just classes, and then you're just like, if you have a question, ask